Hello and namaste, everyone. My name is Pooja Kamatsabnis, and welcome to the IC Network. As always, we have another very interesting video today with a very special guest. His name is Ali, and welcome, Ali, to our show.
Welcome, Pooja. Nice to be with you and the audience. Thank you.
Great, that's great. We're very excited to speak with you. We're going to be talking about a bunch of things around microloans. Before we get started, I would love if Ali can introduce himself.
Okay, Pooja. My name is Ali, and I am the program coordinator for the Servus-Bredin Microloan program within Bredin Center for Career Advancement.
Right.
And I'm really excited to be here in order to spread the word out there so that most people can benefit from our program because it really helps in terms of their career advancement.
Sure, that's great. Before we get into the microloans aspect, it'll be really nice if you can tell us what Bredin Center for Career Advancement does, because I know it has quite a few services that it provides. So can you just elaborate, give us a quick overview of it, and then we can get into the specifics.
Okay, so Bredin Center for Career Advancement, our main offices are in Edmonton, and we provide many services for, I would say, immigrants. That's the majority of our services. In general, internationally educated professionals or internationally educated, trained professionals in specific, but we also provide other services for Albertans in general, regardless of their immigration status, that pertains to their career, development or employment hunting or, resume writing or all these kind of services. Okay, so pretty much our services are mainly, most of our programs are funded by the government. Some of the programs are funded by the provincial government. Some of them are by federal. Some of them are, mixed. And most of them are meant for the Edmontonians. However, the only exception for this rule is the program that I'm coordinator for, because it covers all of Alberta.
Right. That's great. Since you said that your programs are funded by provincial as well as federal government.
No, our program is only federal, provincial, sorry.
Your program is only provincial. Okay, so your program is on microloans then, and this is for people that are applying to either switch their careers or who want to train themselves, get a further education. So we'd like to know a little more about that. Who can apply, can you tell us more about?
Okay, I'll tell about the program and then we'll talk about who can apply. So pretty much the Servus-Bredin Microloan program is in partnership with the Servus Credit Union, hence the name, right? It provides loans for up to $15,000 at an affordable interest rate to be paid later on. It's mainly designed to support new Albertans, people who have been here 3 months and afterwards, and we refer to them as internationally educated professionals, IEP, or internationally trained professionals, ITP. So people who have some training or some education from outside of Canada, and they decided to choose Alberta as their new home, and they would like to pursue whatever experience or education that they have been doing and practicing outside of Canada. Right. Of course, they need to follow whatever regulatory body they follow, right? For example, if someone is an engineer, they need to be registered with APEGA. Okay, so and the same thing for pharmacists, dentists, MDs, nurses, medical technologists, vets, anything. Okay, all of them need to be registered. They need to have the designation to be able to work the same experience that they used to practice back home or anywhere outside of Canada. So pretty much, in many cases, there are some costs associated with this, and in some cases, it's really expensive. So our program comes really handy in terms of removing this financial obstacle so that people can pursue their licensing and then, I would say living the dream.
Right. No, that's great, because we do know of a lot of people who are interested in getting a further education or switching their profiles and need that financial assistance. And having knowledge of something like this can definitely help, can come handy. So that's great. That's great with all this information that you're providing.
Yeah, if I may add something, because it saddens me that, especially when I'm an immigrant myself, so. This was really exciting. The first few, I would say, trips I had to go, to explore the place. So I used to, use the taxi, right? And I cannot tell you how many, I would say, doctors, specifically doctors, I would say They were working as taxi drivers, and of course, there's no problem with that whatsoever. But it's an irony that we have always this doctor shortage in Alberta, and
Right.
someone who has studied and suffered all these years and practiced medicine in their outside of Canada, and they have I would say the ton of experience that we can benefit from the most over here. But for many obstacles, mainly the financial is one of them.
Financial,
And
right.
as you mentioned, the lack of information, they don't
Right.
know, right? But over here, we help them not only the financially, we also help them. We'll talk later on about building their career plan and some
Right.
education plan so that they can know what to follow. Because knowledge is the number one. Lacking of knowledge is the biggest obstacle they face.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, exactly. So at least having that awareness that there's something that can give them financial assistance at a manageable interest rate is so much better than a taxi driver and saving a little money and waiting for a long time then to enroll yourself in a course. So well, that's great first level information, but let's dive a little deeper into it. If somebody is interested in applying for a loan, they'd like to know what the eligibility is. So can you tell us about that?
Okay, so the eligibility criteria are pretty straightforward.
Right.
They need to have the right to work and live in Canada in general, and in Alberta in specific. Okay, so they need to be residents of Alberta because, as I mentioned, the program is funded by the government of Alberta, and their immigration status needs to be either permanent resident or Canadian citizens who were immigrant at some point. But the
Right.
most important criteria is they need to have some education or training verified, from outside of Canada, because
Right.
that's the main aspect. Okay, and the last I would say point would be for eligibility is they need to have some sort of source of income, because
Right.
remember it's a loan at the end of the day, right? So the bank needs to know that the applicant is capable to, after the loan is received, they can pay it off, and we will talk about the repayment options later on. But any kind of source of income, but it's much easier than going to the bank and without not this program, because the bank usually they will check your credit, you have high credit history, and if you're new to the country, you don't have credit history yet, right?
Correct.
But for this program, you can be as new as 3 months in Canada in general, Alberta specific, and pretty much eligible if you meet all the other criteria.
Right. So you said that one needs to have the permit to be in Canada or in Alberta, so which includes citizenship, which includes PR,
Yes.
permanent residency, and what about work visa? Does that do as well?
This is when we discuss this with the bank, this is based on case by case situation, okay?
Right.
Because when you talk about work visa, the biggest challenge with that one is the deadline, because usually it lasts for 3 years, right?
Right.
And because it lasts for 3 years, it depends on the date of the application.
Right.
And depending on the plan the applicant is willing to go through, because sometimes some of these plans might go for years.
Correct.
So because of this, we're not saying it's definite no, it's case by case, because there are many criteria that we need to consider and we need to
Absolutely.
discuss with the bank. However, if I would say it's an early date and the plan fits, I would say with their time limit and as a work visa, pretty
Right.
much it's something we can discuss with the bank. And of course, perhaps we can leave our information with them, our phone number, our email, and the website address, through which they can communicate with us, and then we can discuss each situation. Because I can tell you, we have done over, I would say, hundreds of applicants, and I can tell you, each application is unique by itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in fact, like you said, we will take your, the best ways to reach to you or your company towards the end of this interview. So that'd be great for, the viewers to immediately action on if they really need help.
Yes.
All right. So moving on then, are there any key features of the Servus-Bredin microloans that you'd like to elaborate on?
Okay, so I would say the first thing is when we mentioned that it's up to 15,000.
Right.
So an applicant does not have to go with the full 15,000. Okay,
Sure.
that's number one. Remember, we mentioned that it's meant for internationally educated professionals. So these people should have some planning. What do they need? And it's case by case. Some people require, it's as simple as filling the applications and doing the exams. Okay, some applicants would be, they might require to take some bridging courses, and as you can see, this involves more time, more cost, and more I'd say longer process. So it's dependent, but again, the upper cap would be 15,000, and it's customized. When I say customized, it means, again, if the requirements, whatever planning an applicant needs requires 5,000, then they take 5,000.
Correct.
Okay, they need 10,000, they can take the 10,000, and uh, we match not only in terms of the amount, even when they draw it, and in order for them to save them from paying the interest right away, we match the repayment later on with the date of when them withdrawing the money, and for them to pay for whatever fits their career plan, right? So
Right.
it's customized in that sense.
Okay.
And
Okay.
if I might say also, so one of the biggest services we provide in the center is the career coaching, and depending on case by case, discipline by discipline, we provide career plan and for every single applicant, depending on whatever their status is. Okay,
Okay.
and if someone is not in Edmonton, which is it's typical because we cover
Yeah.
all of Alberta. For example, Calgary, right? I know that you guys are in Calgary,
Yes.
but the thing is, for Calgary, we direct clients for a direction for immigrant, for example. Okay, so we provide them, we connect them, we refer them over there, and they can help them in terms of building their plan, and then they can get back to us in order to apply the loan that fits that plan.
Right. That's very interesting. So I think just further to what you mentioned, I have two questions. One is assuming that somebody doesn't have a very solid plan about wanting to, what they want to do, but they definitely want to pursue some kind of a further education. Then is there is there a way where they can apply pre-hand for the loan? And second of all, assuming somebody does want to pursue further education but doesn't know what they want to do, does the career management, the career, the
Career
help
coach.
system that you have, the coaching system that you have, can you guide those people?
Oh, okay, definitely. So I would say if someone is resident is an Edmontonian, then definitely they can, and they meet all the criteria in terms of living in Edmonton, and they
Right.
have their international education or training from outside, then they definitely can reach out to us at the center, and then we can refer them to their a specific career coach, because we have career coach for every discipline.
Right.
Okay, and depending on the discipline, we will connect them with the appropriate career coach, and then we'll look into their their status, their education, their training, all the certificates they have, and then we can go from there. So that's the starting point, I would say. And I repeat, if someone is not living in Edmonton, like in Calgary, we can refer them to a suitable agency that can help them building their plan. And for the first part of the question, and I'm very happy that you asked this, especially that right now we are only